Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name's Ellen. I just moved to the Netherlands to start a new life with my family. Some of you know this, but back home I was a nurse. I am in the process of obtaining my licensure out here to become a verpleegkundige. So I'm very interested in, what Dutch nurses, what their stories are, and I thought that I would share some of my experiences and some things that I saw back home. And believe me, I've seen it all. I know there's a lot of TV shows, based on the lives of American nurses and doctors. And those aren't always based in the most reality. But yeah, so I'll share what I can, obviously without compromising any of my patients' identities or, integrities. If my former employer is watching this, relax, I would never do that. So I'll share what I can. Some stories, they're just way too specific and I can't share those, but I also want to say some of the topics that I'm going to be talking about today might be sensitive for some people. So I'm going to be talking about mental health. I'm going to be talking about street violence, substance abuse, stuff like that. So if you're not in a good place today or right now to listen to some of those things, this might not be the video for you. So I worked at a large trauma center in the San Francisco Bay Area. This is a photo of me at the top of the hospital, the helipad where the helicopters would land and airlift patients in. So, and then this is a photo of me pregnant, 8 months pregnant, at the peak of the pandemic. This was honestly not a very great time in my life. So I know a lot of Europeans talk about the work hours of Americans, how crazy they are, and it's very true. Just to give you an idea of the kind of hours that I worked, I worked 12-hour shifts. Sometimes I would work 16-hour shifts. And that's actually 16 and a half hours of being there with your lunch break. And then if you factor in, commute times in the Bay Area, there's terrible, terrible traffic. So it would take me 45 minutes to an hour to get to work. It was crazy. It was not easy pulling those kind of hours. I remember bringing, when I would work a 16, all the food I would bring, one lunchbox isn't enough. So it would be 3 or 4 meals. So one of the most common things that I would see, unfortunately, was street violence. So gunshot wounds. In the area that I lived, there were a few different, I don't like to say the word ghetto. I think it's kind of ignorant. Some people say the hood. I would like to say a very marginalized, underserved community. I don't really like how the word ghetto has it's just kind of thrown around now to say, oh, that purse is ghetto or Cardi B is ghetto. I just think it comes from such a place of ignorance. So out of respect for the people who have to grow up in these communities, I don't like to use that word personally. So I would get a lot of victims of violence, gunshot wounds, and a lot of this didn't even make the news. So I feel like if there was a shooting here in the Netherlands, it would be huge news, but this was something that happened all the time. There were rival gangs, so gang members, there would be definitely retaliation back and forth between them. And a lot of people ask me, wasn't it weird? Wasn't it scary for you to kind of care for essentially a murderer? Because, they would shoot each other, but no, absolutely not. These are young men, usually African American or other minorities that were essentially born into poverty. And the thing about poverty is if you're unfortunate enough to be born into poverty, it's very, very difficult to get out. So I think I'm very educated on the socioeconomic factors that kind of play into health outcomes and stuff like that. I'm not saying that like I know what it's like to live in those communities. I'm just saying that I understand more than the average person, because my patients would tell me about it and how scary it is, and feeling like someone is out there to kill you. I just learned like how clueless some people are, like especially healthcare providers. Sometimes, they make suggestions to people like, why don't you go out and get some exercise? Well, people are getting shot outside. This old woman is hearing gunshot wounds, so obviously she can't go for a walk. We had a working relationship, with the police department. We actually had a binder on the unit for nurses to use for us to be able to identify, tattoos that helped us know like which gang the person was associated with, so that we would be careful to not room them together or not put them close together. And obviously that was a large part of my job was, protecting their identity while they were in the hospital. So we would give them a fake name, alias. So sometimes like I wouldn't even know their name because obviously there's someone out there trying to kill them. And that is like a huge concern of ours, that they're going to come into the hospital and, finish the job. So there were definitely like measures in place to protect them and protect us. So another thing that I saw a lot of was substance abuse. So I don't know what kind of street drugs are popular out here in the Netherlands, but I'm familiar with all of them. So back home, I would say the most popular ones were heroin. You guys know about the opioid crisis in America. It's very bad. Meth, methamphetamines, and yeah, just alcohol. So the one thing I want to say for if any of my viewers are struggling with substance abuse, if you are admitted to the hospital, don't be afraid to just be honest with your nurses and your doctors. Like we are not the police, like when we are asking if you use, it doesn't come from a place of judgment. We just like to know so that we can prepare for if you do withdrawal. And there are things that we can do to make that process easier for you, and medications we can give you so you don't suffer as bad. Because withdrawing is no joke. It's hard. The most dangerous one is alcohol withdrawal, I think, because that one you actually can die. You can have a seizure and die. The others, heroin withdrawal, you won't die probably, but you may feel like you want to die because it's so horrible. It pretty much feels like the worst flu of your life. Like you get really, really sick. And then what else? Meth withdrawal, they just sleep. Like my patients would sleep for like a week straight. Okay, something else that I would see a lot of, unfortunately, was suicide attempts. So that's not something that I want to go into too much because it's such a sensitive topic. But what I will say about that, it definitely got worse with the pandemic. And the thing about mental health, a lot of people, I think, would assume that a lot of these patients that do attempt suicide, that they are the kind of like stereotypical, like, oh, they probably had a long history of mental health, or maybe they were using drugs or homeless or such and such. No, a lot of my patients were, working people with families that truly just had the wrong cards thrown at them. Like life just kind of threw everything at them all at once. So please don't ever think that like you are kind of immune to that. And yeah, just check on people. Like, these are really, really hard times. Another thing that I saw a lot was automobile accidents, car accidents, bicycle collisions, you know, resulting in brain injuries, among many other serious things. And, you know, like out here in the Netherlands, like no one wears a helmet. Even the children don't wear helmets. So, and that's something, and I get like the roads are built in such a way that makes it safe, where people don't really have to worry about that. But like, I told my husband, like, I don't know how I'm gonna let my son ride a bike without a helmet. Like, I've seen too much, you know? Okay, and other than that, like, I just saw like so many random things would happen. I know especially like around this time of year when the weather would start to get good, people would be out and drinking, and like water related incidents, like boating accidents or drownings. Oh, you guys know carbon monoxide poisoning? Sometimes we would have families come in for that. And please make sure that your carbon monoxide detectors are working, because carbon monoxide is completely odorless. So you will not know, like you will just be in your house and you'll pass out. You'll start getting really sick. Oh God, what else would I see? Oh, like 4th of July. That's like a huge holiday back in America. And we would get like blast injuries on the hands. People would use fireworks. Like, come on, you guys, be safe. Don't do stupid things. Don't do that. Our hospitals are too overwhelmed at the moment. Yeah, so do I miss it? No, I don't miss the working hours. I don't miss my back pain. The only thing that I miss is, yeah, working with my patients, I guess I would say, and helping them. I really miss yeah, like connecting with my patients and hearing their stories and feeling like I made a difference in their life. The American medical system, it almost felt like a revolving door of just patients coming back and, you know, nothing really getting resolved. So that I don't miss either. So if you guys found this story interesting and you would be interested in following my journey out here, please comment below and subscribe to my channel. Oh my God, you guys, guess what? I can't believe my mom shipped me from California all of my favorite snacks. Like, you know, stuff that I haven't been able to find out here, like Girl Scout cookies. Around this time of year, the Girl Scouts, they sell these really good cookies, and just some of my other stuff. Mom, I love you so much.